Have you ever found yourself looking at your cell phone, checking if you received a message? The screen remains there, still, as if to say, "It won't arrive. Accept it." And you insist. You open WhatsApp, close it, open it again. You think that maybe the notification didn't appear, or that the person is too busy. The truth? You're insisting on someone who's ignoring. And that, my friends, is one of the greatest bad ideas that you can commit. Ignore message, indifference, toxic relationship, self-esteem, unrequited love, suffer for love, emotional exhaustion, self-respect, emotional deprivation, insist on someone who doesn't want to. All this will come your way when you choose to insist on someone who doesn't have the slightest interest, and there's no point in fooling yourself. Oh, but she was so affectionate before. She must be going through a difficult time. I'll give it some more time. More time for you. Become emotionally exhausted. Because those who like, show it. Those who want, show it. Those who respect, respond. But we cling to crumbs. You know that dry good morning you received after 3 messages from you? Well, we transform that into hope. Meanwhile, your self-esteem withers away. Every vacuum, every view that is not answered, every lame excuse, all of this eats away at you from the inside. You start to doubt yourself. You start to think that you're not good enough, that you need to try harder, that maybe you should send a meme, a funny video, anything just to try to break the ice. But do you know what the real deal is? There is no ice. There is a wall. A wall of indifference that you won't be able to knock down by insisting. And while you try to break down that wall, the other person is living their life, without the slightest concern whether you are there, suffering, or not. And then, to make matters worse, that thought appears. If I give up now, I'll lose the chance. What chance? Of being mistreated? Of living a toxic relationship unilateral? To continue betting on a game where only you are playing? It's hard to hear this, I know. But someone needs to tell you. Insisting on someone who just ignores you is digging. Your own frustration. You become a hostage to a cycle that only does you harm. You go to bed thinking about the person. You wake up wanting to check your phone. You spend the day wondering what you did wrong. And I tell you in no uncertain terms, you haven't done anything wrong. You're just choosing the wrong person to invest your energy in. Now think about it. How many times have you caught yourself thinking, just one more message, just one more hi, just one more chance? And how many times did that actually work? How many times was the answer sincere and not forced? The truth is, when you need to insist to be seen, it's because you're not already being seen. And when you humble yourself for attention, what you get isn't love. It's pity at best. You deserve more than this. Much more. But to realize this, you need to stop, take a deep breath and ask yourself, why am I insisting on someone who clearly doesn't want me there? And more, what am I trying to prove? That I am worthy of love? That I am interesting? You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Those who deserve you will see that without you having to go out of your way. So, before you send another message, before you spend another night staring at your phone, stop. Listen to this video until the end, because today, we're going to talk seriously, and maybe you'll realize that the best decision you can make right now is give up insisting. Now tell me, is it really worth insisting on someone who ignores you? Think about it and stay with me. At the end of this video, you will have an answer. That may change everything. Now let's get straight to the point. Why is it Is it a bad idea to insist on someone who just ignores you? First, because you are wasting your emotional energy. Every time you send a message without a response, stalk someone's online status, or make up excuses to justify the other person's silence, you are feeding an illusion. And the more you feed this illusion, the harder it becomes to free yourself from it. Second, because you end up getting into invisible humiliation cycle. You don't realize it, but every time you try to make forced contact, you're saying to yourself, "My value depends on this person's attention." And guess what? It doesn't depend. It never did. But emotional deprivation is blinding. The need to be validated by someone who doesn't want you will push you into a hole. And the more you try, the more the other person realizes they can just ignore it, because you won't stop insisting. Result? You lose respect, you lose dignity, and worse, you start to lose respect for yourself. Third point, you block new opportunities. While you insist on those who just ignore you, you close the door to people who could really value you. Have you ever thought about this? How many times have you missed out on noticing someone nice or meeting new people just because you were stuck waiting for an answer that never came? It's like you're holding on to a rope pulling a boat that's long since sailed away. And the longer you hold on, the more you sink along with it. Fourth reason, you're cultivating anxiety and insecurity. Every time you look at your phone and see no response, your brain releases more anxiety. With each unanswered view, your heart races, your head creates 1,000 scenarios, and this wears down your mental health. An emotional drain that is not worth it. Now tell me one thing. Have you ever been through this? Have you ever found yourself insisting on someone who clearly didn't want to have any more contact with you? Comment below, because your story can help a lot of people who are going through the same situation. And do you know why we insist so much? Because deep down we believe that insisting proves our worth. We think that if we show more love, more patience, more willingness, the person will realize how incredible we are. But let me tell you a secret. Whoever needs you to humble yourself, to realize your worth, doesn't deserve to be in your life. Don't kid yourself. It's not about love. It's about control. Oftentimes, those who ignore you don't want to lose the control they have over you. It keeps you there, trapped, always waiting, always running after, always feeding hope. And the more you chase, the less interesting you become. Not because you're worth less, but because you're willing to accept crumbs. And he who accepts crumbs will hardly be served a banquet. Now let's be honest. How many times have you seen someone insisting and suddenly the other person coming back in love and regretting it? Very rare. What usually happens is the opposite. The other person feels even more freedom to treat you with indifference. So if you are still insisting, stop and ask yourself, is it really worth it? What am I gaining from this? If the answer is suffering, anxiety, emotional exhaustion, you already know what to do. Now share here in the comments. Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever been that person who kept insisting while being ignored? Your experience may open the eyes of someone who's going through this right now. Let's talk. Now let's talk about how everything changes when you decide to stop insisting. First comes fear. Fear of losing the person forever. Fear of never receiving that message again. Of never having that hi you were waiting for. But do you know what happens right after you take the first step and stop insisting? Release. That's right. You start to free yourself from that cycle of suffering that only hurt you. Every day that you don't send that message, don't check if the person's online, don't try to start a conversation anymore, you feel a little more peace. And then you realize something amazing. You don't depend on anyone to feel good. Your self-esteem shouldn't be in the hands of someone who doesn't care about your presence. When you stop insisting, you take your power back. You remember who you are, your worth. You start investing in yourself, in your friendships, in new experiences. And the best part, you start to see clearly who really deserves your attention. Many people think that if they stop insisting, they will lose the person forever. But what happens most of the time is the opposite. When you stop chasing after yourself, those who were ignoring you notice your absence. After all, the person was already used to your constant presence, with your guaranteed attention. But then comes the twist. At that moment, you are no longer interested. Because you have already understood that whoever ignores you once, twice, 3 times, will continue to ignore you. And you deserve much more than that. It's liberating to look at your phone and not feel that tightness in your chest anymore. No longer be in that constant expectation. No longer feel like a hostage to someone who didn't care about your presence. And do you know what the biggest gain of all is? You learn to prioritize yourself, putting your emotional well-being above all else. Not accepting less than you deserve. Of course, it's not an easy process. You'll have setbacks. You'll feel like saying, just say hi. But every time this urge comes, remember, every message you send to someone who doesn't want you is one more step away from your self-esteem. Now I want to make you an invitation. If you felt that this video spoke to you, that it opened your eyes, subscribe here to the channel. Here we talk about things as they are, without romanticizing, without beating around the bush. And if you know someone who's going through this, share this video. Sometimes a sincere word can help someone to free themselves. And tell me in the comments, have you managed to take this step yet? Have you decided to stop insisting on those who just ignore you? Or do you need strength to do so? Let's talk. Together, we always become stronger. Remember, whoever really likes you won't leave you in doubt. Value yourself, take care of yourself, and never, ever accept crumbs of attention. See you in the next video. Until then.